Hi there, I'm Elle from Elle Hattie Journals, and today I'm really excited to be sharing this new product that I have just been sent. These are the Artistro's paint pens, and they were really kind and sent me these in exchange for me doing a little review of them. So they came in the post like this. The first thing I really noticed was that the box is just really beautiful. It's got this really gorgeous pattern all over it in reds and purples and oranges, and I just thought it was really pretty. So I love the way they came presented. When I got them out, they were a bit smaller than I thought they were, but actually I think that's great because they're much more portable than some of the really big chunky ones. I do wonder how long they might last, but I'm really excited to give them a try and see what happens. They come in a range of sort of the basic colours that you would expect to see through pinks, blues, purples, browns, blacks, etc. But this pack actually came with gold and silver, so 2 metallic pens as well, which I thought was really cool. So you could do a variety of designs there. So I'm going to start by just swatching them out, just to see kind of the vibrancy of the colours. Sometimes with paint pens, they can go a little bit patchy quite quickly, and I'm really hoping that's not the case with these. So I'm just going to give them a good shake, like you have to do with paint pens, and then I will start swatching. The other thing that's quite good about these is they've got a really narrow point. So if you use things like Poscas, generally they have quite a big bullet nib, whereas these have got a much finer nib, so you can do a lot more detailing. The kind of counterpoint to that, of course, is that you can't get as good a level of cover if you're doing sort of big areas of colour. But I think that's not what these are designed for. These are designed for quite precise details. So I'm excited to see how they swatch and whether sort of the colour holds up to that. They do take a little while to get going, but as you can see, once they are flowing, the colour is just amazingly vibrant. It flows really beautifully on this black paper and it stands out really well. They actually have really, really strong colours, even though my camera isn't quite picking them up as much as I would hope, but it's doing a really lovely job. It stands out really well, and they are just really fun to draw with. They're really kind of smooth in their movement as well. So far, the green has been my favourite. I think that's the one that stands out the most, but I was really pleasantly surprised by some of the lighter colours as well. So the white, the yellow and the orange also really, really stand out. I think my least favourite has been the pink, just because it's not quite as bold as I think it could have been or I was expecting from the label. But otherwise, I'm really, really excited with how well these have swatched so far. So I'm just going to do a little bit of a design now just to see how well they do with a little bit more coverage. So I'm just going to do a couple of little doodles here on the black paper. I really love using black paper when I'm using paint pens. I think it tends to add some more contrast. It shows up a little bit better than using white paper, though I will swatch these on white in just a minute. For the sake of having some contrast, I did want to swatch these on white paper as well, and again, I was really pleasantly surprised. They don't show up as well as they do on the black paper, which is to be expected, but actually for paint pens, I think they've held up really well. They're still really vibrant, they still stand out really well. I'm also going to just do a little doodle just to see how well they layer, so we'll see how that goes. So I'm just going to sketch out a little doodle of a cactus in a little pot, because I love drawing cacti. I think they're really cute, and I'm really pleasantly surprised by the coverage. It doesn't have lots of sort of streaky parts. You can't see the white of the paper coming through. It's a really sort of thick, saturated colour, which I really like. I don't know if they do a wider range of colours. It would have been quite nice to sort of see how they work with a bit of blending of different shades of green, whereas here I've kind of just used the yellow and the green because those were the colours that I had. But it would be really interesting to see how well they do with a bit of shading to add some different contrast. Now, this is the section I am really excited to have a go at. According to the box, these work really well on glass, ceramic, porcelain, wood, rubber, metal, fabric, stone, paper, and lots more. So I really wanted to try them out on this ceramic plant pot that I've got, and I am obsessed with Spirited Away. It's a Studio Ghibli movie that you have to watch if you haven't seen it already, because they have these tiny little soot sprites in them, and they are just the cutest thing ever, and they're so adorable, and I've always wanted to decorate some of my plant pots with them. So that's what I'm doing now here. I really think this is where these pens work the best. They just flowed beautifully on this slightly shiny surface. Paper has that slightly matted texture that you get just by the sake of it being paper, whereas this is completely smooth and it just flowed so beautifully. It was just really fun to do. They were so quick and easy to paint with these pens. Yeah, I would really recommend doing this kind of project with a paint pen rather than, say, acrylic, because you just get so much more control because of that nib. And yeah, I mean, I just loved how this turned out. It was just so much fun to create. The last thing I really wanted to try these pens out on was this glass vase that I've got. I think it's actually a carafe, but I use it as a vase, so don't judge me. And I really want to see how they go. As far as I'm aware, this is not something that you can get wet. These pens probably would begin to run, I think, as you would expect with these kind of things. But for the outside of the vase, I really wanted to decorate it with some little bumblebees. I love drawing bumblebees, they're so cute. And again, they went on beautifully. Something that I really liked was how fast these pens dried, because I'm always really concerned about putting my hand through what I've just created, especially when I'm painting. I always end up covered in more paint than my piece of paper is. So I was really happy how fast these pens dried, so that really wasn't an issue. So there you can see I'm getting lots of little details in and just adding a tiny little bit of colour. And I'm just so happy with how this turned out. It's actually kind of quite amusing. But yeah, I really enjoyed it and they flowed really beautifully and I just had a really great time. Big thank you again to Artistro for sending these to me. I had a great deal of fun trying them out on some different surfaces, and it was just really fun to create some really pretty doodly kind of art here. So big thank you. If you're interested in checking out these pens, they are available through Amazon or on their website. Alright guys, have a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!